In this video we are going to take another look at the competitive scene and how the Deathwatch is doing in 9th edition. Over the course of the video we will first look at two articles discussing win rates and matchups. We will then focus on actual tournament results, including the US Open New Orleans, 2021 Michigan GT40K, Frontline Gaming Southern California Open, Goonhammer Open UK and the Into the Firestorm 2. Is it going to be Dreadnoughts all over again, or are we seeing a shift in the meta this time? Then for the final part, I will offer my personal conclusions and a quick wrap up. Welcome to SwissHammer, your channel for modeling in Warhammer 40k. My name is Tammer and I will be guiding you through this video. The end of October marks the 1-year anniversary of the Deathwatch supplement in 9th edition. While the faction had a bit of a rough start, following major changes to the iconic kill teams and special issue ammunition, the Deathwatch has been slowly but steadily climbing up in the competitive scene, no small thanks to their great synergy with the Dreadnoughts. While Deathwatch may not have won that many GTs overall, they consistently placed in the top ranks, often outperforming the other Space Marine chapters. I have covered these tournament results in previous videos, the link is in the description. The continued success of the Deathwatch these past few months also becomes apparent when we look into the win rates of the different factions. In a recent meta review article posted on Goonhammer, GT win rate by faction over a time span of August 21st to October 5th shows Deathwatch listed in the upper tiers at 51.8%, a respectable 5% above Space Marines on average, and the top Marines in terms of GT win rate. Further good news is that Deathwatch has excellent win rates against several meta boogeymans, including Admech and Drukhari, but also the Rising Orcs. Reason for concern, however, might be the poor performance against Thousand Suns, though in fairness, Space Marines in general seem to struggle a lot in this particular matchup. I suppose the new Black Templars aside, Mortal Wound spam is a good recipe against an elite style army like Deathwatch. The link to the full article is in the description, I highly recommend reading it. Back to win rates, a recent Metawatch article published on Warhammer Community further confirms the great performance of the Deathwatch at the US Open series when compared to the other Space Marine chapters, with only Space Wolves once more being their greatest competitor. These stats are based on a very small pool of games, however, so they must be taken with a grain of salt, especially when looking at the win rate of Admech, for instance. Still, for Deathwatch, they match with what we have previously seen. Speaking of the US Open series, let's have a look at the latest October tournament results, starting with the US Open New Orleans. Out of the 168 players present, 3 played Deathwatch, which is the same amount as were present at the first US Open in Orlando of similar size. This time, however, Deathwatch scored fairly average overall. On rank 53, we have William Kim with a list that brought back the Indomitor kill team, which has fallen a bit out of fashion lately. Going quickly through the list, we have a Xenophage / captain and a Watchmaster for HQs. We then have the mentioned Indomitor kill team with 5 Eradicators, then 3 Proteus kill teams, 2 filled up with Vanwets and the third packed with Combi Flamers and Storm Shields. We then also have a Spectre's kill team with 5 Eliminators, and to round things up, 2 Relic Contemptor Dreadnoughts with the twin Volkites. The link to the full list is in the description. We then have Justin Lucky Shriver on rank 95, maybe not lucky enough. He ran a classic 5 Dreadnought list with elements of what Alex Harrison used at the London GT. Nothing new to say about this one, the full list is in the description. Then finally on rank 127 we have Gabriel Cantu, who brought the list which I think is mostly based on Rule of Cool, with a few rarely seen picks like Captain Artemis, Invictor Tactical Warsuits and Inquisitor Karamazov, the one and only. Moving on to the second tournament, the 2021 Michigan GT. Again, no major breakthroughs here for the Deathwatch. Out of 138 players, we got 3 Deathwatch again. On rank 70, we have John Cales with a list featuring a Primaris captain with the Dominus Aegis, the Imperium Sword and the Paragon of their chapter Warlord trait, picking the Black Templar's Oathkeeper. Haven't seen that combo yet. As a second HQ, he has the Primaris Chaplain on bike with the Beacon and Chalice. For troops, we have 2 40 kill teams with 5 Outriders in each. That's almost back to the days of the supplement release. We also have an Indomitor kill team with 4 Eradicators and 1 Plasma Inceptor. It is interesting to see all these reappearances of the Indomitor kill teams. Then lastly, a Spectre's kill team with 5 Eliminators and a Helix Adept. For elites, we have a Primaris Apothecary with Selfless Healer and a Redemptor Dreadnought. To round things up, we have an Invader ATV. This happens to be a Primaris only list, and I think that while he made several good choices here, some of them have aged a bit badly over the course of 9th edition. First of all, the Outriders are really pricey after the points increase, and it's generally preferable to run them as infantry bikes with 4 Outriders and the Intercessor Sergeant. I also think that 1 for his kill team like that is enough. He could have put Assault Hellblasters into the second one. For the Indomitor kill team, while the 4 Eradicators and Plasma Inceptor combo was greatly hyped at around the release of the supplement, there are practical problems with the Eradicator's total obliteration ability, and it's better to either just combat squad them off or go for another kind of mixed unit with Aggressors and Inceptors. Link to the list is in the description. On rank 96 we have Philip Bagwell with a list featuring a Primaris Chaplain on bike with the Beacon and Chalice, a Primaris Librarian with the Xenopurge Discipline and the Tomb, and then a Watchmaster with Vigilance Incarnate and Optimized Priority. For troops, we have 2 40 kill teams with Assault Hellblasters, again an Indomitor kill team with 2 extra Aggressors, a pretty basic Proteus kill team with 5 Wets, and then double Redemptor Dreadnoughts and double Relic Contemptor Dreadnoughts. Finally, we also have a drop pod. What stands out here is the absence of the Dominus Aegis, which I think would have worked wonders for the Dreadnoughts and or the Primaris kill teams. Link to the list is in the description. Lastly, on rank 111, we have Fred Fortman, the winner of the Charity Hammer Prep GT covered in a previous video. I think he prematurely dropped out of the tournament after a strong initial 2 wins with 93 and 91 points, then a third closer win at 60 points, followed by a 0 points loss on the 4th game and no 5th one being registered. At its core, his list is pretty much the same, primarily Proteus kill teams and Redemptor and Relic Contemptor Dreadnoughts. He did however exchange 1 Proteus kill team for a Spectre's kill team with 5 Eliminators, as well as taking a Phobos captain instead of the Indomitus one, in turn changing the Lieutenant to the one from Indomitus with the Storm Shield in order to pick the Dominus Aegis relic. Interesting changes overall and a decent list, the link is in the description. Moving on to the Frontline Gaming tournament, out of roughly 172 players, a whole 9 of them played Deathwatch. That's roughly 5.2% of the players, and with that quite above the usual numbers. Ironically enough, what the 4 best placed Deathwatch players have in common is that they all play the Dreadnought heavy list with only slight variants. All lists linked in the description. Moving further down in ranks, on 66, we have Oliver Byler with a highly original list. Rocking full 3 patrol detachments, he brought the fully loaded Captain on bike, Combi Melta, Power Fist, Vigil Unmatched, Beacon and Chalice, Paragon of their chapter Crimson Fists, Castellan of the Black Vault, Adamantine Mantle. This is followed by another Captain on bike with again a Combi Melta and a Power Fist, but without the other goodies. We then have 3 Proteus kill teams, featuring Cyclone missile launchers, veteran bikers or Vanguard veterans. This is then rounded up by a whole 5 Assault Centurions, 1 Watchmaster, 2 Eversor Assassins and 2 Eliminator Squads. Highly creative and not far behind some of the Dreadnoughts. I must give credit where credit is due, and I would have loved to see that one. On rank 91, John Chufo also runs a Dreadnought list, but of a quite different sort. He uses Servitors, a Primaris Captain with the Dominant Sieges and a Primaris Tech Marine. For troops, an Assault Intercessor Squad, I guess he went for the cheapest MSU, Deathwatch Veterans and a Forest Kill Team with 5 Outriders. He then has 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts and 3 Vendreads, as well as 2 Eliminator Squads. What I really like about this list is the inclusion of the Servitors as chaff and the very affordable Eliminator Squads. On rank 115, Clinton Carter rocks another classic Dreadnoughts list as we know it. Moving on to rank 135, Jason Lenore brought a mixture between Dreadnoughts, close combat Proteus kill teams, a squad of Plasma Inceptors, and extra utility like an Eliminator Squad and the Whirlwind. I don't think that there are any particular bad picks in this list, just didn't seem to work out for him overall though. Then finally, far back on rank 165, Adrian Jackman brought a list featuring triple Redemptors, double Fortis kill teams with Hellblasters, a Proteus kill team and several supporting characters. What stood out for me here is that like Oliver Byler on rank 66, he's running a micro captain with the paragon of their chapter Crimson Fists. Coincidence or some new trend coming up here? Moving on to the 4th tournament, the Goonhammer Open UK, with 1 or 2 total players. Here things start to look better for Deathwatch, with another strong performance of Michael Costello on rank 6. As regulars of this channel no doubt remember, he made a solid appearance at the London GT, ending up on rank 39 and won the Factorum GT, bringing only a single Dreadnought along and an Ironclad no less. He made some changes to his list, rocking a fairly standard captain, a librarian with the Son of Purge discipline, and a Primaris chaplain on bike with the beacon and chalice. He then has an Incursor squad, 3 Proteus kill teams, a Relic Contemptor Dreadnought with twin Volkites, an Inceptor squad, an Eradicator squad and a Whirlwind. Once more, I really liked the overall setup of this list, playing to the strengths of both the Deathwatch as well as Space Marines in general, without just spamming Dreadnoughts. Link is in the description. Next on rank 49 we have Kevin Cochrane with a full infantry list consisting out of 6 Proteus kill teams and 3 HQs. This list might be of particular interest to people looking into the new army of Renown, which I covered in a previous video. The difficulty here would be to upgrade all those 6 kill teams with a specialism, which is what the Kill Team Strike Force requires, but nonetheless a good example of how to go about the Proteus kill teams. Link in the description as usual. On rank 76 we have the controversial Alex Harrison, who ranked 2nd with Deathwatch at the London GT not so long ago. Link to the full tournament coverage is in the description. After strong 97 and 90 point wins, he lost the 3rd game and then basically quit the tournament. Let's hope that no glass of water got in his way. Compared to his list at the London GT, he made quite some changes. This time, he had a Tech Marine and a Watchmaster, an Incursor squad, 2 Proteus kill teams with frag cannons and Cyclone missile launcher Terminators, an actual Deathwatch Terminator squad with even more Cyclone missile launchers, 3 Relic Contemptors and, big surprise, 2 Hunters. What he tried to do here was countering the flyers that are currently dominating in some of the meta lists. Interesting idea, have to give him that. Then for the last tournament covered in this video, we have the Into the Firestorm 2 with 50 players, where my personal highlight is certainly Matthew McVeigh ending up on rank 7 with an interesting approach to Dreadnoughts. Primaris Chaplain on bike, Primaris Librarian and Watchmaster for HQs, an Indomitor kill team with 5 Boltstorm aggressors, an Infiltrator squad, and a Proteus kill team with a Black Shield, Terminator, Biker, Van Vets and Vets mixture for troops. For elites, we then have some company veterans, which I always love to see, followed by 4 Dreadnoughts, a Redemptor, 2 Relic Contenders, and a Leviathan with twin Volkite calibers, Graf Lux Bombard, 3 Hunter-Killer missiles, and a Leviathan Siege Drill. Love to see a Leviathan show up once more. On rank 29, we then have Josh Clark with yet another full infantry list that could very easily be adapted to suit the requirements of the new Army of Renown. Smash Captain on bike, this one uses the Eye of Abiding and Thunderhammer combo I was mentioning in my guide to relics, a Chaplain with the Beacon and Chalice, and a Watchmaster with the Tomb for HQs. We then have a squad of Deathwatch veterans with shotguns, followed by 4 Proteus kill teams with a variety of loadouts. Terminators with Cyclone missile launchers, veteran bikers, even some Infernus heavy bolters. We then also have an Apothecary with Selfless Healer and the Company Champion. List is in the description. We have 2 more players further down the ranks, but they have too many non-competitive picks, including souping with Knights in order to really stand a chance. All in all, while it is great to see that Deathwatch has climbed up to a more than just decent win rate, the majority of these tournament results show that it's primarily the classic heavy Dreadnought lists that are scoring these excellent results. While we have seen a return of the Indomitor kill team, I think people to a large degree still run them with outdated combos, such as Eradicators, which really don't match. On the other hand, it's great to see infantry lists return. These can be a useful reference when building for a new Army of Renown style of list. My favorites are once more Michael Costello's list with a good mixture of kill teams, a single Dreadnought and additional utility, and then Matthew McWayne's list, which is still heavy on Dreadnoughts, but with a slightly different mixture, including a Leviathan, as well as giving an Indomitor kill team with Boltstorm aggressors a shot. While I think that Deathwatch has the tools to deal with the recent changes to the meta, one thing to look out for in particular are Thousand Suns, which appear to be a particular difficult matchup for Deathwatch. To wrap things up, over the course of the video, we have looked at 2 articles discussing win rates and matchups. Of special note here is that while Deathwatch had decent win rates as of late, and can deal well enough with meta armies such as Admech, Drukhari and the new Orcs, Thousand Suns in particular seem to be a difficult matchup. For tournament results, the Dreadnought heavy lists supported by Proteus kill teams are still going strong. But in addition to that, we are also seeing a frequent appearance of Eliminator squads, Whirlwinds and company veterans, which are easy enough to fit into any given list. Shout out to Michael Costello, who once more achieved great results with a very well balanced list among a sea of Dreadnoughts. Perhaps just coincidence, but 2 infantry heavy lists with mostly kill teams have also reappeared, which can act as a reference when building for a new Army of Renown. Speaking of which, I'm very curious to see if and how these will be showing up in the near future. So that's it for the latest Deathwatch tournament results and their current state in 9th edition. What do you guys think about these particular lists and results? Any experiences with the new Thousand Suns codex you want to share? Is the Army of Renown going to shake things up? Let me know in the comments. Finally, I would also like to mention that there is a SwissHammer Facebook page where I will be posting links to my videos as well as articles I find of interest. I do read a lot about the hobby, but not all of it will always end up as its own video. I look forward to seeing you there as well. I do also have a Patreon page. If you like my content, any additional support is greatly appreciated as it helps me invest into future videos. As always, thank you very much for watching, guys. Your continued support is greatly appreciated. I hope you have been enjoying this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks again and see you next time.